The iSpectrum project aims at improving the social interaction skills of people with autism, Aspergers, and other associated needs in order to give them the opportunity to gain employment. In the project, the learner can play the game, act different situations, he or she is placed in a different working environment in order to acquire social interaction skills, facial expressions, abilities of leading conversations, and others. The project will increase the understanding of applying virtual environments in the process of education by means of testing, trials, 3D e-learning course, and live training.
The tests and trials were performed in the Center for Social Rehabilitation and Integration of People with ASD, Sofia, Bulgaria. The center is a municipal structure which operates with the aim to offer services and specialized care to children and youths with ASD. The center is established in 2007 and its main activities include social integration and inclusion of people with ASD, rehabilitation and therapy, training and educational programs, working with families and relatives of people with ASD, relations with society and media, organizing free time and recreation of people with ASD, development of research and science activities, training of volunteers. The tests and trials were performed on the 24th and the 25th of February 2012. Each test and trial session continued from 90 to 120 minutes. The center has been founded in March 2007 and it is the first in the country specialized center for work with children and adolescents on the autistic spectrum. We started with 40 children and youths. We have no age limits. Since this year, since August, the center has an extension with 20 adolescents more. The work which we have done all these years made us think that it's good to invite adolescents because the children are accepted better in kindergartens and schools. And one such additional work which we offer is very useful for them. But the adolescents who have visited or have not visited school, after they turn 18, they degrade, they stay at home. There isn't working environment which accepts them. There aren't even services which are offered to them. And we started in August working with 20 adolescents. And in April a project started for hiring people with autism at work. All these 20 adolescents passed basic computer literacy. Then they finished with a certified test and getting a certificate. From 20 adolescents, only 4 passed the test. It was very difficult. But this gave them the independence that they could do basic computer tasks. In the beginning, there were 10 companies ready to hire people with autism for internships. I don't know, maybe they were a little bit stressed, but 7 were left. And in the beginning of January, the internships in the companies started. 7 adolescents attend internships in these companies at present. Except the work with adolescents, we work with little children. The work in the children is individual. What we want is little children to gain support. With adolescents, we think that working in workshops and group work is very useful for them. A project website is developed. The serious game and the e-learning and live training material is tested, evaluated, and the project is disseminated to all partner countries. Target groups. Target groups of testing and training were Autism and Asperger's ASD practitioners. The aim of the tests and trials with this target group was to focus on the usability of the serious game in the activities supporting persons with ASD. Persons diagnosed with ASD. The aim of the tests and trials with this target group was to focus on empowering people with ASD to adapt to real working environment by using the serious game virtual work environment. Tests and trials with birth target groups were performed by splitting them into smaller groups of 4 or 5 people. 5 people from the first and 10 people from the second target group participated in the tests. Location and dates. All participants were required to sign in advance a participant consent form. For the purpose of testing and trailing, specialized questionnaires were developed and distributed to participants. The questionnaire is attached as Annex 1 to this document. In the course of tests and trials, participants were asked to give their opinion on several aspects of the serious game. Hello, my name is Vladimir Buzilov-Dimov. I live in town Sofia, Bulgaria. Last week I learned about the new project, about your game, which simulates the work in an office, and today I played it for the first time. I liked it in general. The game, however, seemed to have some bug, because when I started it, the server had several parts with numbers from 0 to 5. I started with part 0, then I passed the first one, and when I finished part 1, instead of going to part 2, the game finished and I went back to the home page. In my opinion, this is some bug in the game which needs to be fixed. And this is my only remark about the game. The other thing is that the graphics are a little bit rude. But the offered opportunities and the speech in the boxes spoken by people was at a good level. The practitioners from the Center for Social Rehabilitation and Integration for People with ASD gave us additional information about the participants with ASD. The most important fact was that 7 of them are included in a project having internships in medium and big IT companies in Sofia. The practitioners were very helpful, trying to do their best, aiming to identify the weak points and problems in the game's beta version. In the discussions and conversations among and after the trials with the 4 groups of people with ASD and 1 group of practitioners, they stated most of the troubles and gave suggestions on how the game elements could be made more attractive, acceptable, and effective. Our conclusions are based on 2 days testing and conversations for the preparation stage. 12 persons with ASD were separated into 3 groups. 7 of the persons with ASD have practices in 7 steady IT companies in Sofia. We had only 2 hours to test the game, due to the specific organization in the center and the need of 7 participants to attend their host IT companies. It happened in the premises of the Center for Support of People with ASD and Aspergers in Sofia. There were 5 PCs on our disposal. This is the only center which works with people with ASD. The only center for adults. 20 of them included, plus 40 children. The head of the center has a 16-year-old son with ASD. She and her colleagues only one of whom was a man, were extremely friendly and supportive. We have filled in 17 questionnaires. We have the same number of agreements to play the game and to be video recorded. The video materials are also a matter of intensive work before the translation in English. You managed to reach the end of the game. How do you feel now? I feel well. Would you play this game again? No. And would you try the other environments, the one in the shop or in the field? No. Why? I can't remember. And how did you feel during the game? Were you pleased? Yes, I was pleased. And since I saw that you were very excited, what in fact did you like most in the game? In the game, I liked that. And what didn't you like? Was there anything which annoyed you? Or didn't seem well, or disturbed you? Well, yes. What was it? What do you think wasn't made well? On the computer. What was there? I didn't know what to press in order to send it. Oh, when you compose the letters. Yes. Actually, this was the most complex thing, to compose the right text. It's the same in life. To know what to say if you don't want to make a problem. By the way, you were the only person who could resolve the task with arranging the folders. You don't know, but we know you were the only person who managed to do this task. We'll be able to contact some of the IT companies and to explore the attitude of decision makers and probably some of the colleagues working together with people with ASD. Here we have some conclusions obtained by the test makers. As a result, usually the Bulgarian text is longer than the English one. As a result, some of the words are beyond the planned boxes and it is very annoying to try to guess what they mean. Still, there are some single texts offered in English. The map is unclear for all testers. Its orientation should be relevant to the situation. Now, it is with an angle of 90 degrees. It is better to have a red spot showing the current position of the player. It's quite unclear, for example, how to enter the toilet, why you should go there through the restroom. We should redefine the text in Bulgarian to be easier for understanding and to avoid any grammatical mistakes. In the introduction, there is a phrase, people sick with ASD. The answers of the players should be in first person singular. We are involved in this change. Now it is in third person. Most of the testers would be satisfied if the game is more dynamic. They meet difficulties with long sentences. Many of the testers just skipped tests and were concentrated on the tasks. Only one person out of 17 managed to solve the task with the 8 folders.